right, your next comedian coming stage, so funny. Please put your hands together, Cody McGinnis.
Just double check my notes here, make sure I get started on the right show. All right, yeah. So living in the city, they say it's weird how you never see baby pigeons. I've never seen one. It must exist. I think it's weird that you don't see uncircumcised dildos. Representation is important. Both of those things did get me thinking, though. You know what you really don't see? Uncircumcised baby pigeons. Those pigeons and I have one very specific thing in common. We love flying. I'm a big JetBlue guy. They're my favorite airline. They have, I think, the best service, free Wi-Fi, and honestly, the greatest complimentary snacks. There's nothing better than opening up a bag of popcorns and hearing, "Your mom looks great today." There's an old saying that the more things change, the more they stay the same, and I think that holds true today. You know, there's a war looming on the horizon, but it's just a war in the Middle East. Corporations are buying up every home in America, but an African-born socialist Muslim just won a Democratic primary. Our president is a crypto mogul used car salesman. But Diddy is still getting off in front of an audience. The change I wasn't prepared for was finding myself agreeing with Marjorie Taylor Greene, Tucker Carlson, and Candace Owens within like a week of each other. It had me feeling like Boromir at the end of the Fellowship, just like, It really gave me a lot to think about. Some people might say too much, but as a Virgo, I am well equipped for the task. I'm not just a casual thinker, I am a professional overthinker. I overthink about overthinking. Famous philosopher Rene Descartes once said, "I overthink, therefore I overam." Coincidentally, overam kind of sounds like how a British person would order their eggs in a diner. So for those of you who are astrologically inclined, you say that 10 times fast, I'm not just a Virgo. You'll be very excited to learn that I am a September Virgo. For those of you who don't care about astrology, all that means is that my parents had sex in the month of December, which is a very common human experience. My fiance is an Aries. All of the apps, by which I just mean co-star, all of the apps say that we're a terrible fit, we'll never make it, the odds are so against us, which is how I know that astrology is bullshit. It's bullshit because if it was true, then they would know better than to try to tell a Virgo and an Aries what to do. Co-star is dead on about the anxiety though, holy moly. If you can't feel it, it's, yeah. I'm working on it. I'm going to therapy. Actually, my fiance and I have been taking salsa lessons for the past 6 months. Unfortunately for me, when I do it, it's more like Pico de Gallo lessons. I'm never beating the white guy alligator. Does anybody else think that the script writers are just running out of ideas? Like, Earth season 2025 has been interesting, but I think predictable, derivative. At least in 2020, we had some fun big ones. We had the plague, we had the protests, we had the lockdown. Even some of the subplots, the B plots, were new and exciting, even if they didn't pan out. We had the murder hornets. We had Kim Jong-un's alleged death. And then we had the Pentagon released footage of alleged UAPs, they're calling them now. Those unidentified aerial phenomenon, which probably brought to you by the same shit marketers who try to make Max work. They're trying their best and I appreciate it, but they really lost me as a fan last year when they wrote off one of my favorite recurring characters, my grandma. Don't worry, I sent her absentee ballot in, so we're good. Yeah, my Graham passed away last year. Graham, or Grandma G, as we call her, my mother's mother, passed away. And understandably, my mom's been having a tough time with it. You know, who wouldn't with the passing of her parents? So when she wants to talk to me about it, I try to give her all the time and space and patience that she needs. Grief is its own process. It's not linear. It's very circular. The other day, we were driving through their small town of Peterborough, New Hampshire. Anybody Peterborough? You're giving it more than it deserves. We're driving through town, and she's telling me about happenings that made her believe that my grandma was still with us, watching over her. There was a lone white hyacinth blooming amongst a field of blues and purples in their front yard. There was a white mourning dove on their new feeder, fending off advances from cardinals, catbirds, some other bird that begins with C and completes the aforementioned alliteration. There's a lot of here, you know what I'm talking about. So we're driving through town, and in the distance we see just like a lone protester, just a lone white man holding up a big white poster board. So we're leaning in, the car's quiet, we're waiting for the message to come into focus. On this poster board, written in hastily scrawled black Sharpie, was just 3 words: White Lives Matter. The car was especially silent at this point as we continued to drive to the store. I could tell that kind of took the wind out of my mom's sails a little bit. But for me, I couldn't help but smile because that's what I knew that Graham was truly with us.